Hello, my name is Nicole Elko. I'm the Executive Director of the South Carolina Beach Advocates. And today I'm going to be talking to you about a coastal communities water level observation system that has been installed and is operational in South Carolina. I'm based on Folly Beach, just outside of Charleston. And this project is really a user-inspired effort, and it's created this observation system to help coastal managers plan for, manage, and adapt to community flooding. So affordable water level sensors wirelessly telemeter real-time hyperlocal data and tidal predictions to coastal managers' cell phones through a user-friendly app. The project engages local coastal managers to ensure the placement of the sensors. They actually install them. The data and prediction tools, they actually serve on the product development team, and the usability of the app. So we're making sure all of this fits the localized needs of 6 South Carolina coastal communities. The project is also filling significant spatial data gaps that will enhance federal tidal and flooding modeling efforts. So we're working through a public-private partnership with a company called HONU and with some foundation funding from Schmidt Marine Technology Partners. And I'll tell you more about that here in a moment. So first, I'd like to start out by introducing you to the South Carolina Beach Advocates Board of Directors. So these are mayors or administrators of the coastal towns and counties up and down the South Carolina coast, from North Myrtle Beach down to Hilton Head in the south. We also have a number of homeowners associations on the beachfront in South Carolina, which is kind of interesting. We hear a lot from their staff and their constituents about their coastal management challenges. You see the stars on each of their lapels there. The ones with project is really empowering the local governments by giving them access to oceanography sensor technology that would otherwise be cost prohibitive for them. You know, their communities are really brought to a full standstill when flooding shuts down some of their critical infrastructure and transportation corridors. So they're really excited about this product. Some of the mayors have even come to us and said, we need our own data. We don't have enough tide gauges in South Carolina. When we wake up at 2 in the morning in a cold sweat thinking our town is flooding, we want to be able to wake up, roll over, look at our cell phone, no it's not, and go back to sleep. So that was a really cool part of the project, where they're not only vocalizing their management challenge, but they're kind of telling us the product that they want as well. So, essentially setting up the scientific need here. Coastal and beachfront stakeholders management challenge have been changing on a national scale over the last several decades. We see this reflected in the media. They used to be really worried about beach erosion, the chronic erosion challenges. That's still one of their challenges, but their focus has really shifted, where their top challenge is now these water-related management challenges, like we see on the modern National Geographic here. So more intense storms, frequent nuisance flooding has really motivated these communities to develop prioritized sea level rise adaptation plans. You can see the South Carolina Sea Grant on this map here has been instrumental in South Carolina at working with a lot of these communities to develop these plans. So within the plans, the top adaptation challenges come forth as these water challenges, right? Drainage, nuisance flooding, stormwater, septic. And that's the scientific need that this is addressing, is this kind of need for real-time data. So that's one of the things that came up during the planning efforts, this need for tidal data collection to provide kind of local decision support, as well as to enhance the federal data-driven modeling efforts. So NOAA highlights the South Carolina coastal region, for example, as one where their tidal and sea level rise modeling results in significant errors. As I mentioned, we only have limited tidal data on the coast. We only have 2 NOAA tide gauges on the entire South Carolina coast, one up at Spring-Maid Pier in Myrtle Beach area and one in the Charleston Harbor. We also rely on the Fort Pulaski gauge in Georgia for the southern communities. But we're really lacking real-time water level data, especially with this complex estuarine habitat that we have. The red stars, as I mentioned, are the communities that have existing sensors in place, and the yellow stars are those where we're hoping to receive funding to expand this observation system. This project's really going to serve the emergency management needs of these local communities. All right, so we're doing this by leveraging technological advancements and field testing of over 200 sensors that are now operational in 5 states. We're working with Dr. Brian Glazer's laboratory at the University of Hawaii. He's completed multiple years of product innovation and infrastructure development. It was funded mostly by NSF and, as I mentioned, Schmidt Marine Technology Partners. So this collaboration has really created economies of scale for us to help deliver a community water level observing network much faster and cheaper than if we had done it on our own. Glazer's developing similar community monitoring network in Hawaii, and the University of Hawaii has encouraged him to launch this startup company called Hohonu, which means deep in Hawaiian. And the goal of that company is to kind of break down those technical barriers that inhibit communities from establishing monitoring stations. So the price point for this sensor, this low-cost tide gauge sensor you see here, it's simply a solar panel, some constituent parts that include an ultrasonic sensor. You know, it stays dry, so it's mounted on a dock, as you see Glazer installing one there. And some telemetry parts are within the guts of it. So it's telemetering the data in real time. It's not storing any data, hence the low cost. And the market price is around $2,600 per sensor. We're getting that cost down to about $500 per sensor by leveraging some of these grants. And that's been really important for the communities to get involved. So we probably could have gotten enough grants to just get the cost down to nothing, but that buy-in by the communities is really important. It helps assure town council awareness and accountability. The objectives of the project are listed here. So the observing itself, providing real-time water level data. We're serving it through smartcoastlines.org, and I'll show you that sample of that in a moment. But that's an example in the middle of the screen there, what our data delivery website looks like. The second objective are the data analytics, so supporting data quality control, sensor advancements, and modeling improvements realized from this higher spatial resolution. The third objective is innovation. We're utilizing the predictions to develop, as I mentioned, the smartphone app, but also the way that the tidal predictions are being calculated is completely innovative. Rather than using tidal harmonics, we're actually using some data analytics, so machine learning. Time series analyses that are traditionally applied in the stock market are being applied to tidal time series, which blows the mind of someone who's traditionally trained in coastal geology or oceanography, but it's a really exciting new breakthrough that I'm very happy to be a part of. And then 4 is the engagement. And this is really such an important objective here, producing that tool that's user-inspired, co-developed, promoted, and used by the South Carolina coastal communities. As I mentioned, we literally just send these to the communities themselves with an instruction manual, and they install them. The picture you see there on the top right is one that's installed at Isle of Palms here in South Carolina. We provide mounting hardware and some instructions. We let it run for about 30 to 60 days, make sure everything's working, the solar panel's getting enough charge, and then we go out and survey it in with RTK GPS so we know the elevation of the range 0 of the sensor to pull in those tide predictions. So overall, the project implements an innovative yet proven instrumental and data delivery program that are really at a high level of technological readiness. So what I want to do here is just briefly jump out of the presentation and quickly walk you through the website. So this is the smartcoastlines.org data delivery package. You can type in smartcoastlines.org if you'd like to check it out on your browser. It's going to redirect you to the University of Hawaii servers. So we're in the process right now of transitioning this from University of Hawaii over to the private Hohonu site. All of the sites are in here. These are the South Carolina locations that I mentioned. So we'll take a quick look here at Seabrook Island. We're mostly just sending back depth to water. So this is kind of our under the hood data delivery method here. We're going to actually, transition this to something that's more user-friendly with the Hohonu site. All of these other variables are sensor health, QA, QC, but it's this depth to water measurement that we're most interested in. And you can see this beautiful record that is provided of the water levels. This tool gives the user the ability to go in and play with the data a little bit. So some functionality there to change the the dates, to download the data as a CSV file. They can also use the IP site. So, oops, sorry about that. And then finally, just wanted to show you a quick example from Hawaii of the Hohonu site that is under development. And this is where we are serving NOAA predictions next to the Hohonu predictions, which are going out just a couple of days, in which that is what our users have been asking for, is this sort of 4 days in advance predictions. And then back here you see the measurements and then the predictions there as well. So with that, I'll close, and I thank you all for your attention and happy to address any questions.